FM.
And we welcome you in. Glad to on for the ride. The new drug is the same drug. Same drug we've had a lot this year. A narrow loss. A game that was close. 2, 3, and 10 teams. One made the play, one didn't. And we carry on. Jags lose to the Jets. They go to 3 and 11. We'll talk about that today. We've got all kind of fun stuff to talk about. That's not quite as fun, but a lot of stuff to get to today on the program. Heisman Trophy has been awarded. By the way, my 3 was the same exact order that you guys both said your 3 was yesterday. I just couldn't, or last week.
Yeah.
I just not allowed to say it.
Sure, yeah.
But mine were the exact same 3. I will say this. Ashton Jeanty got not only a lot of first-place votes, but I was surprised there was so much pushback by people that were angry Travis Hunter won.
I was too.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I thought both deserving, but however
Same.
it went, I didn't think, the other side should, feel like they'd been wronged. But, that's sort of the climate we're in, unfortunately, in any walk of life. But yeah, I thought they both had great cases. It was clearly a 2-man race, and that was how it bared out. It was the closest race since 2009. They both were richly deserving, but only one can win. And I just thought, Travis Hunter's versatility was so unique. And he was playing for a good team in a stronger conference. But just his ability to change a game offensively and defensively, we just haven't seen that.
Well, that's the thing.
That's why, I thought he should absolutely win the Heisman. But, yeah, I'd had absolutely no problem if Jeanty had won it.
Yeah, I was very surprised there was all the pushback. Even after I posted my ballot, a lot of angry pushback, and I'm thinking, okay, angry pushback, I would have understood if I voted a Florida State running back second.
Yeah, I think I love Cam Ward,
right?
But if you voted Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel 1,
yeah,
you got it wrong.
Right, correct, and that's right. But if they're the people that were angry that Ashton Jeanty didn't win aren't Boise fans. I think that's the thing. If a Boise fan was furious as my one chance to get it, okay, I get that. If you hear from Boise fans, Boise State fans, hey, look, we never have this. This is the best player in our history. Okay, I get that. But I was just surprised. I think there was more pushback to Travis Hunter, to people that didn't like him and don't like Deion.
Is that because he was once committed to Florida State and left them on signing day, maybe?
But I didn't sense it was Florida State fans. I sensed it was
people hate Deion.
Yeah. I sensed it was. I didn't sense it had anything to do with FSU. Yeah, that's right, JJ. People hate Deion and the flash and the dash and all that, and so. But I'm thinking this kid's a good player, man. I mean, you used the word unicorn Friday, JJ, and you're dead on. I think we haven't seen this, and it's hard to be a good receiver in college football. It's hard to be a good cover corner. If you look at the numbers, the touchdowns, the interceptions, the plays, I had no problem. By the way, I thought he would win in a landslide. I was surprised it was that close, and that's no disrespect to Jeanty, but I was surprised it was that close.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised it was that close. I mean, just because Jeanty's numbers are sensational, but I do think that it was the way it went was the way it should have gone. And so it'd be interesting to see. Next year we're already starting to see lists, and it's going to be a great race next year. So, but I thought Travis Hunter was very deserving. And with one of the most outstanding resumes. I mean, again, it's not just the fact that he was playing receiver and corner; it was that he was a dominant player at both. Again, the only player. I'm 48. The only player that even comes close to him is Champ Bailey, and I think Travis Hunter was a better college player than Champ Bailey was at Georgia. Yeah, now we'll see. Champ Bailey's a Hall of Famer in the NFL, and Travis Hunter has a lot of work ahead of him there. But in terms of a college player, Hunter was better than Bailey.
And Champ made some cameos on offense. Right. He was a defensive player. Hunter was both.
Right.
Hunter was legitimately both. That's why I'm interested to see what happens when he goes to the NFL. I will tell you, I'd be shocked if at the very least he doesn't make some cameos on offense. I agree with you. I think he's defense first. But I wouldn't be surprised if he plays more offense, if someone tries him at more offense than you would imagine.
I've actually heard the opposite from one guy. I'm not like a huge draft fan.
Yeah.
But McShay I like, and he has a new show, and he was actually saying he sees him as more of a always starting as a wide receiver. He thinks he's a better wide receiver, and he'll play just some nickel in the NFL. But that's the first time I'd heard that.
Interesting. You know what? I had not heard that either. So we'll see what winds up happening. Interesting race. We'll talk about all kind of fun stuff. I want to get to the Jack Pyburn has picked a team. Everyone thought it was going to be A&M. It's not. It's LSU. I got some thoughts about that. Patrick Mahomes injured. We don't know for how long. I hope it's not long. I hope it's not long at all. But he's injured. You made the point before we came on the air. You and Max were talking that the Lions just have an incredible amount of injuries.
I don't know that I've ever seen a team have so many on one side of the ball.
Right. Especially if you factor in Aiden Hutchinson before all of it.
Right.
And then the recent injuries, Elaine McNeil and all the others.
Yeah, they had 4 guys lost for the season yesterday.
Right.
They now, I think, on the defensive side of the ball, have 14 guys that are on IR that were meaningful players for them. I mean, it's and unfortunately, and we can get more into it, obviously, as the week goes on and the tournament goes on, but it ultimately, I think, is going to doom them. I mean, I offensively, they're still outstanding, even losing Montgomery. Because I mean, to me, Gibbs, as long as Gibbs stays healthy, they'll be fine there. But defensively, what you're seeing is what they're going to be. I mean, Aaron Glenn's a great coach, but there's only so much you can do. And Detroit is going to have to win shootouts. And when you have to do that every week, particularly once you get into the tournament, probably getting bounced, after a game or two.
Yeah, and it's a shame because they really looked the part. And
Yes.
the problem is, and the NFC's got a lot of good teams. That's one of the problems. But boy, Philadelphia looks good. Boy, they look physical. They are. I mean, their cornerbacks are physical. Their quarterback is physical. Their receivers are physical. I mean, that's the thing. That's the hallmark of that team, I would imagine, is how physical they are. So we'll certainly talk about that. So we got a lot of things to get you today on the program. We'll have a busy show. The Gator basketball team. You watch that game?
I did. I could not have been more impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think Arizona State's pretty good.
They are
they're,
really
they're,
good.
they're a tournament team.
They're
They're
athletic.
8-1.
They've got some bigs that.
Yeah. I mean, Florida just gutted them.
Yeah.
Now, look, they played North. And by the way, Florida's not going 31-0. So the first time they lose, someone's going to say, "See, I told you." Well, that's not how it works. But I mean, I'm watching them, and I watched on Saturday night. I watched Tennessee, Illinois. Did you watch any of that?
I did not see any of that.
I watched. And Tennessee's the number 1 ranked team. And it was one game, my sample size, and I didn't watch all of it. But I watched about 3/4 of it. I watched the whole second half, or a lot of the second half, some of the first half. I watched more than I normally would of a game that doesn't involve Florida, a college basketball game at this time of year. The best team's Auburn. I know Tennessee's ranked first. Auburn looks unbeatable to me. I think Florida's as good as Tennessee. Now, I haven't watched Kentucky much. They beat Louisville. So I haven't watched many of the teams. But I would say Tennessee's won, but Auburn looks like they're ridiculous because they've got the best player in the country, who's also 6'11", and I mean, do you see he had a 20-20 game? Did you see that? 20 and 20.
Yeah.
He had 20 and 20.
He's going to be the player of the year.
Yeah, he had 20 and 20, and I want to say 8 steals or something like that. He almost had a triple-double, which, who gets triple-doubles in college,
No one.
I mean, so it's pretty amazing. So a lot of things we'll get to today on the program. Let's start with the Jaguars. Hey, same old story, I think, for the Jags. They played a good game. They played with energy. There was more energy from both teams. I thought both teams, kind of for two teams that are out of it, it was an entertaining game. It was a good game. I thought the Jags' first drive of the game was the likes of which we haven't seen in forever. I mean, forever and forever. I thought Mac Jones played well. Mac is not a down-the-field guy as much. He's an intermediate check-down guy more than not. I thought the Jags, with missing all the guys they were missing, played a pretty good game. But I will tell you, as much as I have been critical of the trenches, and I have been critical of the trenches throughout, and I've probably even identified that as I think the team's biggest weakness, but I've probably been asleep at the wheel, not recognizing as much as others have. I mean, recognizing, just not pointing it out, I guess, the safety play and the inability to avoid the explosive, which is a safety. That's why it's called a safety, by the way. And my goodness, the deep balls and the big plays the Jets authored when the Jags seemed to be in control of the game was probably the most disappointing part of that game for me.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this goes back to an issue with Doug Peterson's decision to hire Ryan Nielsen. It's a gamble anytime you hire a defensive line coach to be your coordinator, because a lot of times they don't have the understanding on coverage that you need. And Ryan Nielsen is now going to be Exhibit A moving forward for head coaches looking to find a new defensive coordinator, because Ryan Nielsen is probably a really good defensive line coach. We haven't seen much from the tackles, but he probably is. If Ryan Nielsen is your defensive line coach, he's probably pretty good at what he does. But when you then become a coordinator and you have to tie the rush to the coverage, many can't do that. And they have not been able to do it all season. I mean, this goes back to September when Doug Peterson was asked about, I think it might have been actually in the Colts, the win that they had over the Colts. But obviously they gave up the 2 bombs from Flacco to Pierce. And I might be forgetting the weeks because there's been so many where the safeties have played poorly. But Doug Peterson was asked about it the next day, and he was like, we got to coach it better. And he was like, and he started his answer with, I never do this, but
I remember
we've got to coach it better. And it hasn't gotten any better. And it certainly was at its worst yesterday. And I really thought it was a missed opportunity because the Jets had no energy the entire first half. No energy. Davante Adams has talked about it when he first got there, and you could really see it on the other side. You know, they're opposite us in the press box. There really was nothing on their sideline at all that looked like any kind of good body language. And so it appeared like the Jets had sort of, just were going to play out the string here, and the Jaguars would be able to get a win. You mentioned the first drive. It was outstanding. And you would think set the tone. And then Aaron Rodgers went in at half with Davante Adams and was like, look, we can beat them deep, and did throughout the entire second half. I don't – how do you give up 200 yards receiving to a 31-year-old receiver in one half of football? I mean, and a 41-year-old quarterback. But you do it because you don't know what your responsibilities are in coverage. And it's not – the safeties are terrible. The linebackers aren't any good in coverage either. So, but the safeties are the main issue. And I think it goes back to – I mean, Andre Sisco isn't a bad player. I don't know. Antonio Johnson, we don't know. We haven't seen enough. Darnell Savage, it's the first year here. We don't know enough. I don't think Andre Sisco is a bad player, but Ryan Nielsen and his staff have not been able to get anything across to Sisco all year. And so I think it's been poor teaching. And you look at it, the Jets have a 71-yard play in the fourth quarter, a 43-yard play in the third quarter, a 41-yard play in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's just inexcusable. And it all comes down to the safeties. But again, I can't imagine. We can talk about who's going to be here and who isn't. I can't imagine Ryan Nielsen's here. I mean, if you're doing a power rankings of guys that absolutely will not be a part of the 2025 team, Ryan Nielsen, I think, is number one on that list. And he's gone. I know his family's gone through a lot. It's been a tough year, but still, this is the NFL, and it's a cutthroat business, and you just can't have a defense that's performed this poorly and has not been able to communicate all year long, and then bring anybody back on the defensive side of the ball. And again, it's a lesson that if you're looking for a defensive coordinator, boy, if you're going to go with a D-line guy, you better make absolutely sure that he has proven that he knows the coverage component.
The thing with Sisco is interesting for me. On the long pass, and I think we talked about this in the pregame with you and Mia yesterday, the long pass against the Texans.
Yeah, Texans that Stroud underthrew.
Yeah, that Ronald Darby had the coverage. So and then he broke it up because it was underthrown. And then you could see him yelling at the sideline. Well, on that play, Andre Sisco was the post safety. Not free safety, strong safety, post safety. He had one job. His job was to nobody goes to the post. That was his job on that play. The terminology on that play, I can tell you, because I didn't know that was a thing. I've been told that was a thing. You're the post safety. That's the word in the play. And he vacated his post pun intended, because and I can tell you coaches are scratching their head. Now listen, to your point, part of coaching is getting your players to do what they're supposed to do. So that part of coaching is a big part of coaching is getting your players to do what they're supposed to do. So when players don't do it, you scratch your head, which leads me to, if you look at some of the things that have gone wrong, there's about 3 or 4 of them. One of them, by the way, is quarterbacks making inexplicable choices at the end of the game. That's 3 times now. The Jags have been driving for a possible winning score, had the defense on their heels. Minnesota, Philadelphia, and now the Jets. Down. Look, every coach will tell you, you don't want to be on defense at the end of one of those games. You want to be on offense taking a knee. If you're on defense backpedaling, more in today's football, you often lose that game. You often lose that game when the offense is coming down the field.
Ulbrich should have lost the game.
Yeah.
It was inexcusable how he played that final sequence.
No question. By the way, no question. He's an interim coach, and you see why. There's no way the Jags should have got the ball back.
Right.
So, but that's a conversation for another day. But when the other team's coming down the field, usually there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose that game. Not always, but with today's kickers and with today, 3 times now, the Jag quarterback, Mac Jones against the Vikings, Trevor against the Eagles, and now Mac Jones against the Jets. It was 2nd and 1. I mean, it was a 2nd and 1
and
play.
plenty of time left.
Yeah, and the reason you correct, the only pass you throw on 2nd and 1 is take a shot if it's wide open. The Trevor interception against the Eagles was on 1st down. The Vikings play, I don't remember what down it was, but I can tell you
it was 3rd and 1 yesterday.
You're right. It was 3rd one. It was 3rd down in a yard. It was 1st down against Philadelphia, and then so anyway. So some of these plays,
but with 44 seconds left in the game,
right,
which is an eon.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're already at the Jet 47.
Yeah. So anyway, was it third? Why did I think it was 2nd one? Was it 3rd one?
So they went. Mac was incomplete deep right to Parker Washington on 1st and 10, then on 2nd and 10, short to Brenton Strange for 9 yards.
That's right. So 3rd one. So, but the point is that when you're 3 and 11, there's a collection of stuff that goes wrong, and I've talked a lot about the line play, and I still think that's first. But the safety play, the quarterback's mistakes at the end, the Jags are 3 and 11. What does it mean going forward? We'll certainly talk about that coming up. We'll talk about the Heisman Trophy. We'll talk about the Jack Pyburn decision. We'll talk about injuries in the NFL. They're starting to mount up. We got a lot of stuff to do. A little college basketball talk too. Gators at North Carolina tomorrow night. Florida up to 7th. I got a thought about the SEC and basketball, all that and more. Glad you're with us. A lot to do on a Monday. We always thank our friends from the Best Bet. Always a Best Bet Monday around here. Now, the 12 days of Christmas going strong at Best Bet Jacksonville. High hands increase daily from $1,600 to $2,300 every hour. Every hour. That's the 12 days of Christmas. It's going on at the Best Bet. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Sometimes winning and losing comes down to one play. There's only one performance-painting, high-performance play of the game on 1010XL.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help. Now I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their Swat That Kick Jaguars promotion at jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of free pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Big Chief Tire offers affordable quality tires for every type of vehicle. Frank Frangie here. Whether you're looking for all-season tires, high-performance options, or something more budget-friendly, Big Chief has the perfect set to keep you rolling. Their expert technicians ensure your tires are installed quickly and safely so you can drive with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRolling.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and check out their unbeatable tire deals today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WonderWorld wants you to do. WonderWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WonderWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WonderWorld can.
And with WonderWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WonderWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WonderWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WonderWorld, and to top it off, WonderWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WonderWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WindowWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
WindowWorld, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
WindowWorld also offers energy-efficient doors.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's Monday Night Football time, and we've got the scoop, so let's dive into tonight's doubleheader. The Bears head to Minnesota as 7-point underdogs against the Vikings with a 43.5-point over-under. Give a look at the Bears to cover on the road. They've been pretty good against the spread of late. Game 2, the Atlanta Falcons take on the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. The Falcons are favored by 4 points. They've shown resilience on the road. They can cover that spread. For those of you eyeing the total points, we're predicting an over-under of 44 with moments of offensive fireworks. We'll lean towards the over. Picture a high-scoring affair under the Vegas lights. MyBookie has the best odds for Monday Night Football. Remember, it's all action all the time. Bet with confidence, and be sure to check out MyBookie, the best sign-up bonus in the industry for Florida bettors. Our listeners can sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your first deposit up to $1,000. Promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus for Monday Night Football. Bet anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frangie Carlyon, La Selva with you. I will say this, JJ, we get to talk to scouts a little bit here and there. There's a belief among some that Cam Ward might be a really good NFL quarterback. He might be the best guy. He might be better than Shedeur.
I hope. Yeah. I hope he's a really good Pop-Tart Bowl quarterback. But yes,
well, that's first.
I'm looking forward to having a Miami quarterback in the league. It's been a long time.
Here's the book.
Vinny Testaverde time.
Yeah. Here's the book on him. The book on him is he's not as polished as Shedeur, but he has better talent. The book on him is he's a little too casual.
Very.
And quarterbacks that come into the league that are too casual take chances that aren't there. But don't most young quarterbacks? We've had that conversation about Trevor.
Yeah, but I think Cam is even, and I agree. I love his talent, but I would say that there's some things he needs to button up.
At least once a game, you're like, dude.
Well,
why?
And that's the book on him.
You don't want to have a 31-year-old middle linebacker saying, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah, right.
Because you've thrown your 6th pick, and it's game 3
to guys that were clearly covered.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he is. But the word is that he's the talented one. That he's the one that if you go around, he's the one that people think is the best. Because I always thought it was Shedeur was going to go.
Well, and it's going to be all over the map.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to see between now and May.
That's right.
I mean, everybody, like you like to say, everybody's got a mock draft.
Right. And everybody does.
And you're going to see.
I bumped into a homeless guy out here, and he had nothing to his name. He had a paper bag and nothing, but he had a mock draft.
Well, what did he have, Cam?
Yeah, he did. Right.
Here's also the thing. Listen, people aren't going to agree, like you said, but also Dion doesn't want to just send his son to any old place.
Correct.
So this might be an Eli situation.
Good point.
Well.
It very, very possibly could be that. So we'll see. We'll talk more about that coming up. All right, the Jags lose the game. Listen, the worst situation you want to be in at this time of year, of 10 days before Christmas, what you don't want is to be talking about how much this guy's going to help next year, right? I mean, that you don't want to be that. What you want to be is you want to be scoreboard watching and finding out where you're going to land in the playoff picture. Well, that's over. So you know what you do? What I do, at least, I start thinking about how this guy's going to help me. Right? I mean, that's what listen.
Yeah, I mean, Doug even acknowledged that today, that it's now time.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Trey Prince at corner.
Right.
Like, obviously, Monteric Brown, Ronald Darby didn't even see the field yesterday, even though he was active.
Yeah. So
they've started the youth movement that they can
evaluate.
They can logistically do.
It's now evaluation time.
Right.
And so whether you like it or not, that's kind of where you are. And again, we've had enough conversations about who's fired and who's not. We got the end of the year. We can do that. We've that all of us have done that so much now. There's nothing to be added to that conversation. Everybody knows where everybody stands on those issues now. But so having said that, I do find myself thinking there's some intriguing pieces. Obviously, you know who Trevor is. Look, I didn't watch that many LSU games last year, and I know Malik Neighbors was the player that everybody talked about last year. And they had the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who the word was supposedly making everybody look good. I get it. And I saw these stupid numbers, the ridiculous numbers that Brian Thomas Jr. put up, the touchdowns, the yards per play, the whole bit. I had no idea it was going to be this. I mean,
I don't think anybody did.
No, couldn't have. He went 23rd.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a top 4, top 5 draft pick. It's clear.
Well, he's the best receiver in the class.
Yeah,
I mean, right now,
right.
with what we not to slight Neighbors. Neighbors has caught 90 passes. I get that, but if you look at their numbers,
was one of the best.
Brian Thomas Jr. is having the best season.
He's one of the best 5 or 6 players in the class. That's what I didn't. I mean, I had no idea that this guy is going to be, barring injury, an absolute freaking megastar. Tough. Fast, changes directions, good hands, big, great burst. So we got a lot to be upset about at 3-11. I get it. But I'm going to start with him. We'll get to the other guys in a minute. What a megastar number 7 is going to be, barring injury, for the next 10 years. And I hope he's here for most of those because, my goodness, in the age of the receiver, Jerry Rice was great. Michael Irvin was great. Megatron was great. They've been great receivers. But there's never been an age of receiver like this. There's not been. There's not been an age of this many. And maybe you just have to go to LSU to be the guy. Maybe you just have to be Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, or maybe that's a prerequisite. But my goodness, is he a good player?
It's extraordinary what he's been able to do. And you look at how his rookie season is comparing against some of those guys that you mentioned. You know, you start with Jamar Chase. His rookie year, caught 81 passes for 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns. You look at Justin Jefferson, 88 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And then CeeDee Lamb, 74 catches for 935 yards and 5 touchdowns. So Brian Thomas Jr., with 3 games to play, has more receiving yards than CeeDee Lamb did as a rookie and more receiving touchdowns. And he has more receiving touchdowns than Justin Jefferson had as a rookie. And again, his yardage projects to about 1,160. So he's not going to get to where Chase and Jefferson were. But what he proved yesterday that goes even beyond the numbers is he proved that he is a star that can't be stopped. Because if you're the New York Jets, and you know, these weren't like game time decisions and then like Christian Kirk was inactive or, Gabe Davis.
Correct.
I mean, the Jets knew all week, no Christian Kirk, no Gabe Davis, and they found out about Evan Ingram on Friday. So they had a pretty good idea of how to build the defensive game plan. They knew they've got to stop Brian Thomas Jr. And the fact that he just absolutely dissected their defense to the tune of 10 catches for 100 and something yards and 2 scores.
And one other thing, well, let me add this to you because you're making a great point. On top of all the stuff they knew, and they've got Sauce Gardner on their team. Continue. But
yeah, I mean, they're fourth, and entering yesterday, they were 4th in the league in total defense. So I mean, obviously, it's a good defense. And for him to go, 10 receptions for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also, Mac Jones is the quarterback, not the regular starter, Trevor Lawrence. So he's doing this with A, backup quarterback, B, no other secondary proven commodity that the defense has to really worry about. Now, Brenton Strange had a great game, but it wasn't he wasn't the top guy on the scouting report. And then you factor in the quality of the defense. And for Brian Thomas to go out there and do, that's what stars do in this league. We haven't seen that much here, so we're not accustomed to seeing it. But that is what stars do week in and week out. Where, I mean, I know I'm going to be the focal point of everything the Jets are trying to do. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go out there and have a season high in receptions, catch 2 touchdowns, go for over 100 yards. And help the offense score in the mid-20s, which I would have thought would have been enough Sunday morning. It's remarkable what Brian Thomas Jr. is doing, and the fact that he's so humble as well. He's
a good dude.
Adds even more to it. When they made him a captain, Doug likes to have like this 6th captain, and it changes out each week. When they made him a captain, like midway through the year, it was like, to me, that said a lot about how Brian Thomas Jr. is wired. And so not only are you getting an exceptional player, and it's fun kind of comping him, now everybody sort of has their own kind of, guy that they see. But the amazing thing is, he doesn't look like he's going to be even even a semblance of a headache. He's a pro's pro, and he's got a skill set that we see sophomore slumps a lot in this league. I do not think you have to worry about that with Brian. Assuming he stays healthy, I think he's headed to brilliance. I think he kind of resembles Devontae Adams. Just
leaner.
Yeah, he has to fill out. But Devontae in 2014 looked like that.
I agree. Yes, he did.
And he's 31 years old now. Devontae Adams' rookie season, 38 catches for 446 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he played the whole year.
Right.
So Devontae Adams didn't even really get going.
And who's his quarterback?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
So Devontae Adams didn't even really get going until his third year, and now he's got 11,641 yards and 101 career receiving touchdowns. The sky is absolutely the limit for Brian Thomas Jr. It will be so much fun seeing what he can do. Just hope he stays healthy.
And we'll talk more about this as the days and weeks go on, but he's so good. I would think if you had a really good offensive line, and that's a conversation for another day, if you went into the 25 season with Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne as your two backs, with Evan Ingram still here, and Brenton Strange is your second tight end, and Brian Thomas Jr. is your lead receiver, and some combination of Kirk, Parker, Washington, see what they decide to do there. You got to add a receiver or two. I would think that's a pretty good fountain. Now the line is another conversation, but I would think that's as NFL skill people around the line go,
it'll be very attractive.
It would be attractive. Yeah, I think so too. So we'll talk more about that. But there's a lot to like. There's a lot not to like. That's why they're 3-11. We'll get to that coming up. Let's take a break. I want to weigh in on the Jack Pyburn situation. For people that don't know, the former Bulls star, former Gator star, has committed to and signed with LSU. He's in the portal. He'll play his final year of college football in Baton Rouge. I got a thought about that as we continue. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle. It's the time of year all our customers love. At Garber Auto Mall, every 2024 must go. Take advantage of thousands in discounts on all new Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle. Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Pick it here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of About 9. Visit About 9 Associates today and experience the difference. About 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim.
You all know our success with Awake 180, and now with Awake 180's GLP-1 balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awake180weightloss.com.
She's seen and heard all over 1010XL's video and social channels.
Whether the big cats are at the bank or on the road, I'm there too. Follow my updates all season long, on air and online.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
Jingle bells, plumbing's gone astray. A burst pipe, no hot water clogged drain on Christmas Day. That's no holiday. Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're faster than Santa's sleigh.
904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Brian Thomas Jr. broke the record for most touchdowns by a Jaguars rookie with 8, passing Allen Hurns, and most receiving yards by a rookie with 956 in Sunday's loss. The young superstar has been nothing short of fantastic in his rookie campaign, as he went for 105 yards on 10 catches with 2 touchdowns yesterday. Listen in to what it was like for him to break those records.
I mean, it comes with it. I was just going out there just playing. It comes with it, just being the best that I can be, and it turned out good for me. Just being able to break those records. But I mean, at the end of the day, we still wanted to go out there and win as a team. Everybody knew, so I mean, I didn't really have to say anything. But I just go out there and just try to play the game the right way. And if it comes to me, it comes to me.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We do thank our friend from the Best Bet. Get on your chance to cash in on the 12 days of Christmas at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine now. That is December 20th through the 23rd. Man, oh man, all kind of fun stuff going on in the holidays. Best Bet, 3 great locations. St. Augustine right there off the interstate. The location in Jacksonville's Monument Road, that big, beautiful location. You know that one well. And, of course, Orange Park on US 17. Here's my thought on Jack Pyburn. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. If you don't know, Jack Pyburn was a player at Bowles. Good player. Not a big prospect. Wanted to go to Florida in the worst way. Been a Gator fan since he was a little kid. Been going to Gator games. Been tailgating at Gator games. I know a lot of the people that know the family. He just really wanted to be a Gator fan for the longest time. Wanted to be a Gator player. The Gators took a chance on him in part because of all that, in part because they weren't exactly signing 5-stars left and right. Developed him, helped him overcome, and he worked really hard. He's a hard-ass worker in the weight room. Overcame a brutal ACL injury last year to become a darn good player and had a big part, brought a lot of energy, a lot of toughness, a lot of enthusiasm, and a very good player that became a starting defensive end at Florida this year and really helped the cause. he looked like he was headed to being the ultimate Gator forever. Then, and as I understand it, and I'll tell it the best I understand, and by the way, I don't know if all this is true, but it's the word you hear. Before next year, all colleges divvy out the NIL money. I'm told his total was similar to TJ Searcy, who's a backup end, and less than Tyreek Saps, who was the other starting end. And the Pyburn camp thought there should be more money. More importantly, from some that I talked to, he didn't want to be rotated out as much. If you watched Florida this year, they rotated all 6 of those defensive ends. Pyburn and Sapp started the game. Searcy and Cameron James came into the game. Gumps and L.J. McCray came into the game. They had 6 ends. Now, they played all 4 of them in nickel together, but they rotated a lot. That was kind of the conversation, and he felt like he was taken out of the game too much. I think his camp, meaning his family, the people around him, thought he was taken out of the game too much, wanted him to play more, whether that's on third down, and believed by playing more, he'd have a better chance to play in the NFL. So, with all that said, there was a lot of conversations between his camp and Billy Napier, and saying, and again, he insists he didn't want any guarantees, and I believe. I'm not going to say anyone I don't believe. There was a report. Zach Alberverdi had a report out of Gainesville that he wanted $45,000 a month and to be guaranteed third down and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's true. I do know, I've talked to enough people that are close to it, that he did want to play more than he was in the rotation. He thought that would help his chances to play in the league. And I say his camp. And he did quibble about the money he was offered. Some people say they figured out the money part, but they wouldn't guarantee him the playing time. Who knows what it is. But the point is, all that was in play. Part of that is the reason he went to the portal. It became very publicized when that story came out. He went from being one of the favored Gators to a bit of a pariah in the fan base. He visited both A&M and LSU, according to the reports. And you saw a report today that he is committed and signed with LSU. Here's my take on this. That's the background, and it was a lengthy background. I know that. I made the point last week. I'll make it one more time. You don't get to be a hero for life very often. And Jack Pyburn, because of his Gator background, because of how much he loved the Gators, because that's the only place he ever wanted to play, had he played one more year at Florida, he would have been a hero for life in Gator Nation. He would have been Chris Doering and Tim Tebow, 2 young guys who grew up as Gator fans, went to every Gator game, and couldn't wait to play for the Gators. There's not that many like that. Tennessee has something. Jimmy Himes used to talk, Hayes, when I would talk to Jimmy, he would go, he would be referring to a player, and he said, he's a VFL. And I didn't know what a VFL was. What's a VFL? It's called Vol for Life. And that's a big thing in the Tennessee world. If you're a Vol for Life, you never buy another drink. You get a job anytime you want it. And I don't know what determines whether you're a VFL or not, but they use that determination. You've heard it before, Vol for Life. I don't think Florida's got a designation necessarily, but you know who the GFLs are. We all do. And I just hate it for Jack Pyburn. This is not Frank the Gator fan angry that the good Gator players leave. And that happens all the time. And I hope he does well at LSU. And that's not political correctness. He's a Jacksonville guy. And from everything you say, a really hardworking kid. And I hope he does well there. And I mean that sincerely. And if Gator fans don't want me to feel that way, that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. But I hate for him, Hayes, that he will not have the next 60 years of his life being a Gator legend. He will not be looked at that way now. He will not. He'll be looked at as a guy that went to LSU. If he goes in the NFL and they put his school underneath, it'll say LSU. If he reads out, some read out their high school, some read out their college, but if he's on the team where he reads out, he's going to read out LSU or the bowl school. He's not going to say Florida. He can't. None of them talk about their first school. So he will be regarded as a former LSU player. And that's okay, but I hate it for him. A kid that grew up an hour from the campus, a kid that only wanted. And I wonder, did he get bad advice? Because everything you hear is it's a camp thing, not just him. Family, people involved with him that were very upset about his usage, very upset about the NIL money that was being divvied out. And from what I understand, comes from a very wealthy family or a very well-off family. I shouldn't say wealthy. I don't know that much. And I just hate how it ended for him. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with how good Florida or LSU. Florida and LSU both have a bunch of good defensive players. LSU's always had them. Florida started to get them. Both are going to have good football teams next year. Jack Pyburn would help either one of them be good. Jack Pyburn probably isn't the guy that's going to determine whether either one of them win a championship. But he's a damn good player, and he will do well at LSU. I just hate for him that 7 years from now, 3 years from now, 12 years from now, he can't walk around the state of Florida as the beloved Gator. College football is different. College football, fans refer to themselves as the mascot. Jaguar fans will say, I'm a Jaguar. They say, I'm a Jaguar fan. Pirates fans, I'm a Pirate. Pirates fans don't walk around saying, I'm a Pirate. They say, I'm a fan of the Pirates. But college fans, buddy, they say, I'm a Gator. I'm a Knoll. I'm a Bulldog. College fans are different. That's how they talk. And so and the fact that he can't go around being a legendary Gator, I really hate that for Jack Pyburn, and I hate that it got played the way it does. And look, he's a big boy, by the way. JJ made that point last week, and I agree with it. He's a big boy. He can make his own decisions. I hate for him that he won't have that X years down the road. I mean that very sincerely.
Yeah, that's all well said. And I would say, like, it's sad where the sport has gone because, again, I'm 48. I've been a fan of the sport for 40 years. They've got me. I mean, as long as the University of Florida is playing football, as long as there's SEC football, I'm going to be a diehard college football fan, no matter how, I would say, poor the sport goes about its business, which it has. But I mean, this is, again, and this is just one example, but it does make you wonder if you're growing up a sports fan right now, do you pay a lot of attention to college football? I mean, again, it's got me, because I've had 4 great decades, and I do think there will be reforms and things like that and things that maybe will make it a little bit easier, I'd say, as a fan. And Pyburn's one of 100 examples. So it's not just Jack Pyburn. It's just that we haven't seen this degree of a player that has a passion for a university, that this is his dream to play for this school. And now because of $100,000 or $200,000, whatever the difference, he is going to now go play his final year at not just another school, but a rival. I mean, Florida's SEC opener is at LSU. So Jack Pyburn will not have to wait long to get whatever revenge he seeks on Billy Napier and the rest of his former teammates in Gainesville. It's September 13th. And so, again, it's another one of those examples that it's just, how does this sport expect to draw in the next generation of fans if this is how this would have been unthinkable 20 years ago. Unthinkable that something like this could happen. And again, I don't get a sense that that Pyburn is this elite player, and I think he's a good player, and he certainly plays with incredible energy and enthusiasm and passion. But I could have seen him, having a decreased role for Florida next year. I will be interested in seeing if he gets what he is hoping for at LSU, which obviously has a very talented roster. I can't speak to their edge room like I can Florida's, which has got a lot of talent in it. But we will see. I just think this is a gut punch, I think, for fans. Not even so much because I don't think not having Jack Pyburn is going to cost Florida a win next year. But it's like there was a purity to college sports that is just long gone, and I've known it's long gone. But this is maybe the biggest forearm to the jaw of it is just professional football now. It is professional football, and you're never going to see, I say never, but it certainly doesn't seem like it. You're not going to have that connection that players had to their school like we have had. Because if this story ends this way, then, I mean, I don't know that you're going to see very many warm and fuzzy stories when it comes to a kid growing up, getting a chance to play for their dream school, and then becoming a big-time player at that school. And again, it's nothing against Pyburn. He's taking advantage of the system. But this system, I don't believe, is sustainable for growing this sport beyond the demographic that is already hooked into it. And that, I think, is a problem that they have got to figure out and resolve. We've got a kid at Penn State who, by the way, they're in the playoffs.
And he plays a lot.
And he's opting out.
Yeah, and by the way, he's not a guy on the bench. He's the backup quarterback that they bring in running situations. So he's part of the rotation. He's not, right. He's if the fourth string guys leave, and even though they're playing in the playoffs, one thing. This is the guy that helps them win games.
We have a school in Marshall that couldn't go to their bowl game because they had too many kids enter the portal. Like, I don't know what the university presidents and athletic directors and conference commissioners need to see that says this sport is completely broken if it stays on this course. And I think largely they would agree. And they're trying to revitalize it with tighter rules that do give the players a piece of the pie that they do deserve. And they do have some freedom, but there's got to be the universities have got to be protected a little bit more than how they are right now. Because if this is where the sport is going, again, it'll always have me. I'm always going to watch SEC football, Florida Gators football, FSU football, Miami football. I'm going to watch that for the rest of my life. I'm going to watch the playoff. But if you're 16 years old, I don't know that this sport's going to do much for you.
Well said, and we'll see where it all goes. We'll take a break. Back to some Jaguar football talk. Bucky Brooks joins us after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Let's go. Game day gets here a little quicker with Pregame Friday. Here we go. Who's in? Who's out? Who's on upset watch?
Exactly.
We'll get you ready for the games.
All right, you ready?
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
We're H-A-P-P-Y, H-A-P-P-Y, because Happy Honda Days are here. Everything is bigger. Bigger selection, bigger discounts, bigger trade-in values. Honda, quality, value, safety. Don't miss Happy Honda Days, going on now at your local Honda dealer.
I'm Julie Harrell. I grew up here in Jacksonville and have seen our city grow, as well as the number of car crashes. If you need help after a crash, choose a law firm with an actual office here. Lawyers you can meet with face-to-face and who specialize in personal injury. At Harrell & Harrell, we've been here for nearly 40 years, developing relationships with local doctors, law enforcement, helping people just like you. If you've been injured in a crash, call Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Once in a lifetime savings.
No corporate jewelry does that.
Beard's Diamonds does. Save up to 44% off store-wide.
Now extend it until December 24th.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island. Enjoy Monday Night Football with freshly made pizza, burgers, wings, sandwiches, and a full liquor bar at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Fear the Spear.
Plant your spear and get the latest news and notes from Tallahassee.
It's all about Tomahawk Nation on the Seminole Report. Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2024 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us Sunday, December 29th for our fan appreciation game when the Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans.
It's going to go over on down, and the Jags are going to win the ball game.
To lock in your seats for this divisional matchup, head to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there, Jags fans.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your next round of golf with us. Our welcoming atmosphere and love for golf keep our friends coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hey gang, Dan Hicken here for America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million active members. It's Prize Picks. First things first, download the app today and use code JAX, that's JAX, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today, use code JAX, $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. How to play? All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, like, is Jared Goff going to throw for more than 230 passing yards? Will Saquon Barkley have more than 1 touchdown? Will Travis Kelce have less than 70 receiving yards? You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, which they usually do, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals. Prize Picks, run your game.
Ho, ho, ho! When I need gifts for special people, I go to Tobacco Cove at 3849 Bay Meadows Road. They have everything you need to make Christmas as special as they are. Find the finest in limited cigars, pipes and pipe tobacco, and the accessories that make life easier like humidors, cutters, and lighters. And don't forget Lampe Bergère fragrance lamps. So, take my advice and go to Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road, and make this Christmas one they'll remember.
I'm Max Finke with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Orlando Magic fell 191 last night to the New York Knicks in a tough defensive battle. Mo Wagner led the scoring for the Magic, dropping 32 off the bench on 26 minutes. A very efficient night for Wagner. Here he is on how he feels the team can improve, which will help them win closer, defensive-minded matchups like the one last night.
I know we like to use numbers to analyze, make sense of a game, but at the end of the day, this is a game, and when you put your energy in the right place, good stuff happens. That's just how it works, and I think we got to mature a little bit as a group, everybody included, and this is a great opportunity for us, for our 2 best players to be out, and everybody get an opportunity, and we got to appreciate that, and like I said, an opportunity to evolve in that regard.
The Magic return to the floor Thursday night to host the Thunder at 7. It's 67 degrees at 5:03. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The buck stops here. Time now for Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Coyle & Sons, Jacksonville's commercial fence specialist, on The Frangie Show.
And we do thank our friends from Coyle & Sons. You can get a hold of them by calling 904-356-4821 or go to coiljacks.com. Look, if you need commercial fencing, overhead doors, anything of the like, protect your property, nobody does a better job. They've been doing it since 1927. They're the experts in Jacksonville. Coyle & Sons Fencing, 904-356-4821 or coiljacks.com. Bucky Brooks joins us now on the program. All right, I'm going to start this with the question. I'm going to ask you to read a mind a little bit, Bucky. You ready to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
What? And Hays and I were talking about it earlier, and obviously we were calling it, and we've watched it too many times. What do you think? You were right there on the sideline. You were freaking 10 yards away from it. What do you think Mac Jones saw on that final interception when Parker Washington break the route off? Mac said after the game, Bucky, you probably heard it, that he thought Sauce baited him into the interception a little bit. Take us through what happened on that play from your vantage point.
Okay, so the situation is you only need a half yard to be able to get. And from my vantage point, because they were coming right at me, I saw Parker Washington and the outside receiver kind of do like a switch release. And so in my mind, a switch release is like when the outside guy comes in, the inside guy goes out. So I'm thinking like, okay, Parker Washington is going to break it out and run to the sideline because the way we want to preserve the clock. And you know, it's funny because I'm looking at Sauce, and I heard Mac Jones talk about, like, he baited him into it. But to me, Sauce Gardner stayed on top the entire time, meaning that he stayed with plenty of cushion over top of the receiver. It didn't appear that he jumped the route or he didn't appear to kind of, like, think like he was going to break on something underneath. And so I really don't understand, like, how he fooled Mac Jones. I think sometimes in a position under pressure, we kind of can see things that we want to see because we want to take the shot. And I think it's just maybe lacking a little patience and discipline in that moment as opposed to just kind of executing the play call.
Yeah, Bucky, that's well said. On the opposite side, let's talk about the Jaguar inability to cover Devontae Adams and certainly the deep stuff and in the middle. What were some of the issues that you saw with the Jaguar coverage problems against the Jets?
Well, the two things, right, because the two big plays that showed up, right? The 71-yard pass, we'll attack that first. The Jaguars were in what we would call Tampa 2. And so Tampa 2 is a two-deep zone where you have two deep safeties that are kind of parked between the hashes and the numbers. Their responsibility is to make sure nothing goes over the top. Now, the Tampa part of the call tells the Mike linebacker that he's running through. So even though they're two deep safeties, that Mike linebacker is almost like a middle safety because he lines up deeper and he protects the middle of the field. In theory, what you want the safeties to be positioned a little deeper. So when the linebacker is running through, his goal is if they throw to someone that runs down the middle, I want to force an elevated throw, meaning I'm going to force the quarterback to throw it higher. That'll give my safeties enough time to get off their landmarks to make a play. What I saw, one, the run-through linebackers were not lined up deep enough to really be able to kind of stay with Devontae Adams long enough. Secondly, the safeties were too shallow to the line of scrimmage, so they didn't have enough depth to protect the linebacker if the ball came down the middle. And so to me, it's just a failure in alignment, assignment, and execution. And the disappointing part is we got veterans back there, right? You have Darnell Savage back there. You have others, there's Antonio Johnson and Andre Cisco back there who have played enough to know better. So to me, it's just understanding the moment. And really, you hear Bill Belichick and those guys say, do your job. But really, it's as simple as that. What is my responsibility? Let me make sure I do what is expected of me, and we'll take care of it. Because the call was solid, the execution was not.
And I wonder, and I think you hit the safeties, you know, the Tampa 2, and people know this, the Tampa 2 worked because Derek Brooks could run as fast as the receivers could, right? And there's not many Derek Brooks out there. But I thought Lloyd did okay, given what he was asked to do. I don't think it was on him. I think the safeties collapsed a little. I mean, it's on the safeties, right, Buck, on that play?
Yeah, the safeties weren't close enough. Like they weren't where they needed to be. Like so, sometimes here's the thing that everyone wants. So everyone wants to be able to do these pre-snap disguises where you show one thing and then you get to something else. But what you can't allow happen is to let your pre-snap disguise compromise where you're supposed to be when the ball is snapped. Darnell Savage appeared to be too shallow, too close to the line of scrimmage to be able to make the play. And so when you go back and you look at the highlight, everyone appeared to be at the same level. The two safeties and the Mike linebacker, that should never be. That should be, we used to call it, put money in the bank. Put more time. So meaning, Frank, if we line up at the snap. If I'm lined up at 15 yards, when the receiver gets to 10, I should be at 25. I should maintain my integrity. It's no different than you would teach 8, 9, 10-year-olds. And what we're not doing is we're not giving ourselves a chance because we're not lining up right, and we're certainly not executing the call. And then the last thing, because I didn't talk about like how Davante Adams was left free on the big play that was really the game winner.
Right.
They went man-to-man. So Jerry Jones was lined up over top of Davante Adams. And what you have to do is you have to make a decision. Are we playing it straight where my man is my man the entire down, or are we switching and passing off? It appeared that the guys on the inside thought that they were passing off, but everyone didn't communicate it like that. So Jerry Jones saw Davante Adams go. He stayed because he's like, I'm going to get someone that comes out this way. Devin Lloyd or somebody else will carry Davante Adams the other way. They'll pick it up. That didn't happen. And so we really don't know who's at fault because we don't know how the switch rules were. But certainly Devin Lloyd started out, then he came back, and those things. And then you look up, Aaron Rodgers sees 17 wide open to his left, drops a teardrop to him, and he races down the sideline. And again, it's another opportunity for the guys to just execute the call. If they execute the call, it was sound. We're just not executing what is being called. And so that's unfortunate for the coaches and the players.
Are you surprised the safety play has struggled like it has?
100%, man. I'm one of the guys that was telling that Andre Sisco would be an all-pro player, a Pro Bowl caliber player in this defense, and it hasn't happened. And when Darnell Savage coming over from Green Bay, a guy who has plenty of pelts on the wall, I thought that they would just perform better. Look, I mean, I go back through because, Frank, you've seen, I keep these notes from when I came and made multiple visits in the spring about how I really liked the way the defense was going. It was simple. It was a see-ball, get-ball defense. They put a lot of time on task when it came to the fundamentals. And so for me, to see us, struggling the way that we're struggling, I never would have predicted that based on how they practice. Because I can tell you in practice, they were doing it. They were getting their hands on the ball. You saw the energy, man. We had days where Trevor had 3-4 interceptions because they were playing so well. To see it fall apart the way that it's fall apart on game day is one of the biggest surprises that I have in the 2024 season.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's talk about something positive. Brian Thomas Jr., Bucky, the Jets knew that that's the guy they have to stop, and Brian Thomas Jr. just wasn't going to allow that to happen. What were your impressions of his game, and what did you learn about him yesterday?
Well, look, man, he is every bit as good as the guys at LSU told me and said it. And I'll say this because I think I've told Frank this in confidence. When they were talking about Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., the comparison was Malik Neighbors is a dog, maybe more competitive, more feisty, more of the energy that you need, but Brian Thomas Jr. is more gifted and more talented. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing is that play out. He is gifted, he's talented, but I think the thing that might have been underrated, his competitiveness. He loves being the number one receiver. He has flourished since he's been the guy that's been anointed as the number one. And I think the Jaguars have learned something. You know, so much of what we do as coaches sometimes is we want to rely on the system and the ball goes where the ball goes based on the progression. Well, sometimes if you got a dude, you force feed the ball to the dude. And in the last few weeks, we've seen when they force feed the ball to number seven delivers, and this offense has probably been the best that it's looked when he has been force fed the ball the last 6 quarters. And so that's something that you can take in the next season. Look, number 7 needs to be fed the ball. We need to make it a priority to make sure that he gets 10 to 12 targets a game. Good things happen when he gets the ball. And so I'm excited about that part of his progression as a young player.
The two running backs, Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, are totally different. Bigsby, as we all know, is the downhill runner, a little more of the hammer. I still think Travis Etienne's got a burst and plays well in space. Do you like the combination? I mean, as we run this back next year, I think that running back room's okay. Now, they got to add to it. We don't know what Keelan Robinson is, but Hays and I were talking earlier, Bucky. I think there's some pieces here. I think the running back room's a good piece.
Yeah, the running back room, I think, is in pretty good hands. You know, like Tank Bigsby is physical in between the tackles. He's a downhill runner. Travis Etienne is at his best on the edges. I still think there's even more that we can explore when it comes to that combination, because when you look at the best teams are getting to that 33 to 35 rushing attempt mark each week. And when you look at Detroit and see what they've been able to do with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, there's ways that the Jaguars can feature those two running backs to make the game even easier for Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside. But, yeah, I think that's one of the things that you study in the offseason. How do you maximize the talents of both of those guys? Because they're playing well. And I'm going to say this because we also talked about the offensive line a ton. The last 2 weeks, we've seen the offensive line play better. And I would say that against the Jets, that was their best performance. Because going into this game, we wondered how they were going to move the football against this Jets defense that was really highly touted, well-regarded. And they moved the ball. They physically ran the football. They were able to do some of those things. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can take out of that, but you don't like the loss. But there's certainly some things that you're encouraged about when you look at the tape.
I was surprised at how often Aaron Rodgers could kind of dance in the pocket a little bit. Were you at all disappointed in the pressure applied to Rodgers? Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker recorded 4 combined tackles. Was there something that was lacking there?
Pressure. I don't even. You get close to him. We didn't get close to him. Aaron Rodgers was the leading rusher. We never got close to him. We never disrupted his rhythm. And the only way that you can play a cover-based scheme is you got to be able to get pressure with the front 4. And so we were really playing coverage, meaning we weren't blitzing a lot. We wanted to keep at least 7 guys in coverage. We wanted to make sure that we didn't give up the explosive plays, but we were never able to disrupt the rhythm of the quarterback. It's a lot on Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker to always be in the mix, to always be relied upon to be the pass rushers. But that's just where the Jaguars are. We don't have a third pass rusher that can come up and give them the production, even though Ledbetter had a sack and had a very impressive backflip. You need more. You know what I'm saying? You need more pressure, more disruption, and we're not getting that. And it's one of the things that was a major concern coming into the season. And unfortunately, our fears were realized because we haven't been able to generate the kind of pressure that we need to be a top team.
You know, you have a better eye for this than I do and a better angle on this one. But I think, tell me if I'm way off the mark here, but I think they struggled so much with interior pressure that those guys can chip and double Josh and Trayvon all game long. Now, nobody ever chips and doubles all game long, but you know my point. You got to have some pressure in the interior. Hasn't that been a big flaw here, Bucky?
It has been a big flaw. And one of the things that you thought, right, like, so when you signed Eric Armstead, and regardless of where you're going to play him, whether you play him inside or outside, the thought was that was going to give somebody an opportunity to move inside and take advantage of guards if there's a weak link on the inside, whether that's Trayvon Walker, whether there's Armstead himself. The thought was we were going to have 3 pass rushers that could get after it. That hasn't materialized because Armstead has not been able to kind of give us the production that we expected from someone who has played at a high level in the past. And so that part is disappointing. In terms of Devon Hamilton and those guys, I don't know what you could expect from those guys because they're more like run stoppers, pocket pushers, and those things. I would say that if you're going to be a championship caliber team, you have to be dominant on the offensive and defensive lines. And we have not been able to dominate on each side of the line. And so our record is a little reflective on our inability to control the game in the trenches.
How good can Brenton Strange be? I mean, obviously we love Evan Ingram, but can Brenton Strange, is he a above average player in this league? Does he have star talent in your opinion? Give us your scouting report on Brenton Strange, who obviously had an outstanding day yesterday.
Yeah, he did have an outstanding day, and every time he has opportunities, he shows up and shows out. And that's why, like, I mean, man, we hate the moral victories, and we hate talking about the silver linings, but there's some things that show up that you're excited about. Brenton Strange, to me, is a nice compliment to Evan Ingram. I don't think you want to use one to replace the other. I think you would like to explore how you can use both guys, just like I would say, like, Parker Washington's emergence at times isn't as a replacement, but as a complement to what you already have in Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas Jr. and those things. But in Strange, what you have is a big physical tight end who's super athletic, who can run the seams and do some things. You would think that we would be in more 12 personnel, like 1 back, 2 tight ends, to really explore and expand on what it can do. I think that'll be one of the off-season projects that coaches have to look at is how can we maximize the young talent? Because we can talk a lot of things, right? But there's some young, intriguing pieces that you can build upon. You just want to do it. And another person who deserves a mention, Cam Little, the kicker, is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Like, I know we don't talk about kickers enough, but, man, I have not been around someone who is as money as he is as a young player, and he has a big leg. he's another young player that you should be excited about.
Yeah, that's a great point. The minute he runs out there, you pretty much write down the 3 and move on.
He's money.
He really does. It's a great point. All right, well, we're at that point now. We're looking to next year. That's what happens when you're 3-11. Bucky Brooks checking in, doing a great job in talking Jags with us. Hey, you get a short flight next week, by the way, don't you? I was just thinking about that. You don't have that long flight, do you?
Yeah, it's so short, man. I may even just drive over there, Frank. You know what I'm saying? I may just drive over. No need to spend a whole lot of time going through security and all that. I may drive over there. You know, I know we got a big meal planned.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
I want to make sure I get a good workout in early. I'm going to save myself.
Good. Good.
Yeah, because we're gonna get after it next week. And hopefully, man, we'll play better and maybe we can get a dub.
Let's hope so. Bucky, we appreciate it. See you next week. Thanks, buddy.
All right, man.
Bucky's going to drive over. We have the big steak dinner coming this week.
Absolutely.
We have the big team steak dinner. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Look out, Vegas.
Yeah, look. You know what? Look out, Vegas.
Yeah.
Not like anyone's ever attacked Vegas like we will. That's never happened. Let's take a break. Hayes has headlines on the other side of this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If offense and defense don't win the game, sometimes it's up to the special team.
And here comes the field goal team. They've got to hurry.
After the game, catch the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally on 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Find your holiday season stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 1-point underdog at the Las Vegas Raiders. The over-under is 40 points. The Texans are a 2-point road favorite against the Chiefs, who probably won't have Mahomes. The Ravens, a 6.5-point favorite at home against the Steelers. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
This holiday season, let Bono's Catering do the cooking so you can enjoy more time with family and friends. Frank Frangie here. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for 75 years. Holiday catering is available with whole smoked turkeys, country hams, and all the fixings. Be sure to pre-order online at bonosbarbq.com or give us a call at 904-332-7427. Speaking of the holidays, Bono's signature rubs make the perfect gift for all barbecue lovers. Remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
If you're buying gifts for family and friends, check out the 1010XL Holiday Gift Guide with ideas from
St. Nicholas Gun and Range,
FOCO, Fans Only,
and the spa at Marriott Sawgrass.
Start shopping and saving at 1010XL.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. If your car needs an oil change, now's the perfect time to visit Big Chief Tire. They're offering $10 off your next oil change at any of their 5 locations across Jacksonville. Their expert technicians will get you in and out quickly so your car stays in top shape. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold & Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold & Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Our most popular meat combo is ready to grill this season. Pounds and pounds of marinated steak tips and chicken, fresh ground beef, and homemade sausage. Just ask for the sampler combo.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. Or how about just sending one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it all.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harold & Harold. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie, JJ La Selva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harold & Harold. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, the Jaguars lose to the Jets 32-25. But it was hard for me to be in a bad mood because Brian Thomas Jr. shines so brightly. The rookie catches 10 passes for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game in which the Jets knew he was going to be getting the ball left and right. Really impressive performance in a loss.
Yeah, and Bucky just told us that, and he did tell me that before the season, that his LSU people told him that he was they had more talent than Malik Neighbors. And Neighbors was a grinder. I said this at the top of the program. I'll say it again, Hays. I can't believe he's that good. I knew he'd be pretty good. He's a first-round pick. But you talk about a guy that was underdrafted. He was drafted 23rd. You think there's 22 rookies that are better players than this cat? I had no idea he would be. I knew he'd be a good player, but I had no idea he'd be this good, this dominant, this soon. Barring injury, what a great player he's going to be as his career moves along.
I mean, I thought he was the 4th option going into training camp. I was thinking 40 catches, 550 yards, and maybe like 2 touchdowns.
Right,
I mean,
right.
He's sitting on 64 receptions for 956 yards, a 14.9 yard average, and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
it's incredible. I mean, he's you look at his numbers compared to the rest of the league. He's, top 10 in yards and touchdowns.
Well, think about this. He's got 956 yards. How many did you say?
956.
So he's 44 yards shy of 1,000 with 3 games left, and he's probably going to average a minimum of 80 a game. I mean, think about the yardage total alone for a rookie.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff.
It really is. The Jags secondary couldn't stop the star receiver on the other side as the Jets' Davante Adams catches 9 passes for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. How impressed were you by Davante Adams, who is about to turn 32 years old on Christmas Eve? Or was it just simply the Jaguars' coverage breakdowns?
Was both. I mean, the throw and catch on the sideline on I think a third down play.
That was a thing of beauty.
Was unbelievable. I thought he went in. I couldn't believe they didn't challenge it until we kept looking, and then he saw that he got it in. Those two guys together are really good. Look, when you're among the greatest, when you at some point in your life have been among the greatest players in the world at something, in the world, the world's big. And Aaron Rodgers was among the greatest football players in the world for a time. And Davante Adams is one of the best receivers in the league. They're really good. Now, look, the Jags broke down sometimes, but when Rodgers had time, boy, he is really good. He's decisive. He's on point.
That release is still quick.
Yeah, right. The arm is not as strong.
Yeah.
He floated a few balls that the Jags got to and knocked away. But boy, oh boy, they're good. So I gave you a long answer to a short question. I think Adams is really good. I really do.
Let's get it to around the AFC South. The Texans clinched the division with a 20-12 win over Miami. Boy, the Dolphins, that was a poor performance, and there's a lot of speculation in that outpost now that you could see a coaching change coming. The Colts drop a game 31-13 to the Broncos, pretty much eliminating Indianapolis from wild card contention, while the Titans continue their struggles. They lose to the Bengals 37-27.
Well, let me start with the Colts. And I'm going to get to the Texans in a minute. What a disastrous game for them. Two plays that they'll never forget. One, the Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball. You've done it too long for that, bro. Yeah. That's inexcusable. And then the throwback interception. I mean, those are two nightmarish plays. Poor Shane Steichen, the offensive mind as well as the head coach. He's going to see those plays in his sleep because you rarely see two of those in a season, and they have it in the same game. So that, look, give the Texans credit. They're flawed, but they're the best team in the division, and they win when they have to win. And as for the Titans, they've moved on from Will Levis. I'm surprised it took this long. That was a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it to around the NFL. The Bills stomped the Lions 48-42. As Bills quarterback Josh Allen continues his MVP push with 4 touchdowns. There was some puzzling decisions. Dan Campbell started electing the onside kick.
Yeah.
Down 10 points with 10 minutes left in the game. But forgetting everything with Detroit, what an incredible performance by the Bills. And, again, now with Mahomes' injury, the AFC is seemingly a little bit more wide open.
Yeah, the Chiefs are the Friday the 13th killer that you can never kill. But they look weaker than they have. And you're right, the Bills. I like the Lions the whole time. And again, the Bills, the Bills look good. And they are. Electrifying teams can be electrifying. That's a dumb comment, but you get the point. Teams that can really go up and down the field wow you even more than you thought they would.
Yeah, and they took it to them immediately. I mean, Buffalo was up 14-0 immediately.
Right.
And then just sort of set the tone, and then they kind of traded scores, but it never really mattered because Buffalo had gotten off to that 14-0 start. The Eagles bully the Steelers 27-13. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown find their groove, connecting 8 times for 110 yards and a score, and a massive win for Philadelphia, who continues to push Detroit for the number 1 overall seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I thought, by the way, going into that game, I thought that Philadelphia would clearly be the better of the two teams, and I think without question they were. They're a good bit better than the Steelers. The Steelers are a flawed team. The Steelers are okay, and they didn't have Pickens. But Philly looks like one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the league right now. Good luck beating them.
Yeah, absolutely. We did mention that Mahomes' injury, suffered an ankle injury in a 21-7 win over the Browns. The Chiefs are 13-1, but we will see if backup Carson Wentz has to play for Mahomes in Saturdays. Again, short week, Saturday's home game against Houston. Vegas obviously thinks that Mahomes is going to be inactive because the Texans are a 2-point favorite at Arrowhead.
I'm not playing Mahomes.
Yeah,
I'm not playing Mahomes. You're going to win the division. You may not have home field throughout. Something could happen. I'm not playing Mahomes. I don't know that I'm playing him till the end of the season.
Week 15 closes tonight with a doubleheader. The 4-9 Bears travel to the 11-2 Vikings, while the 6-7 Falcons have a road game at the 2-11 Raiders.
Yeah, the second game does nothing for me. The first one's pretty good. The first was pretty interesting. Really, the Vikings, by the way, no one's talking about them. You ever notice that? I mean, the Vikings, for whatever reason, because the Eagles, because the Lions, because the AFC teams, Vikings are 11-2. I mean, they're the least talked about 11-2 team of all time, aren't they?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and in regards to the Raiders, maybe I guess it's interesting. I guess you pull for the Raiders maybe to improve Jaguars' draft positioning, but we'll see. One thing the Raiders are dealing with, they're obviously the Jaguars getting ready to head to Vegas. Star edge rusher Max Crosby out for the season with an ankle injury. He's going to have surgery, so the Jaguars will not have to worry about Max Crosby, nor will Kirk Cousins and the Falcons tonight. Let's get to college football. Travis Hunter wins the Heisman. Frank, reveal kind of how you voted and how you went about your choice.
Yeah, I voted Travis Hunter 1, Ashton Jeanty 2, and Cam Ward 3. Ashton Jeanty had a magnificent season, one of the great running backs we've ever seen, and he would be a very worthy Heisman winner. But I thought what Travis Hunter did is almost impossible to do. To play that many snaps and to be that productive as a receiver, that productive as a cover corner, to never run out of gas, Hays, to continue to impact games and to do something someone said you could never do. And I do think he played better competition than Boise State did. I think that matters. And I think he continued to do it game in and game out. I thought Jeanty was really good. It was a tough challenge for me, so I picked them 1 and 2. I had Cam Ward 3rd. I thought he was the best quarterback. I thought he was better than Shedeur Sanders. I thought he was better than Dylan Gabriel. I thought Dylan Gabriel, I know he finished 3rd. I thought he benefited from having a great team around him. He's an old school Heisman guy that wins because the players around him are good. So I voted Cam Ward 3rd.
Navy upsets Army 31-13 in commanding fashion. Navy improves to 9-3, while Army is now 11-2 in one of the best matchups this rivalry has ever given us.
You know, I was watching that thing. I was going back. I was watching the Gator basketball game, but they were going at the same time. I was kind of flipping back and forth. Boy, the Navy quarterback,
unbelievable,
really fast. I mean, he looked like a fast, not a running back, a fast running back. Hey, Navy hit him in the mouth from the minute that thing started. Give him credit.
Yeah, absolutely. UF center Jake Slaughter named a first-team All-American, ensuring his brick will be outside of the swamp forever. Slaughter is the 3rd Florida center to ever earn this accolade, joining Bill Carr in 1966 and Marquise Pouncey in 2009. And Frank, you've got breaking Jake Slaughter news.
Yeah, Jake Slaughter decided to come back. He just decided that today. That is a big thing.
Huge. He's a redshirt junior.
He's a redshirt junior. He's regarded now as the best center in America. And when you're regarded as the best center in America, you could come out, whether you be drafted the first round or not. And he said, no, I'm going to go run it back one more time. Right, 1 day or 2 days after Damian George says the same thing, Austin Barber's got a decision to make. But if he says the same thing, that line comes back almost intact, other than Brendan Crenshaw-Dixon, the right tackle. And they've got a bunch of guys that can take a look over there. Bryce Lovett's a good player. Cameron Waite. The Florida Gators are going to have good personnel. They will have. We'll see how good their team is. Young. We'll see how well they're coached. They've got a brutal schedule. But that's a big one. That's a big one for the Gators. He's a leader. He's a really good center. That's a big one for Florida.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Damian George coming back. He announced that this weekend after we had talked about George entering the portal. So Florida gets their right guard back.
Right. Yeah. So they have a chance. They have a chance to be a very talented football team.
Former UF player Jack Pyburn has committed to LSU, who will not have to wait long to see his former team. Florida goes to LSU for their SEC opener on September 13th.
Yeah, I spoke at length about that earlier in the program. I won't belabor it and say it again. I'll give you just the cliff notes of it, of my thoughts. I hope he does well. He's a Jacksonville guy. From what they say, nobody works harder and trains harder and deserves it more than Jack. I hope it happens for him. But I'm disappointed for him, not with him, because I'm just a Gator fan. You're allowed to play wherever you want. I'm disappointed that he won't get to be that Gator for life, that he won't get to walk around 10 years from now and Gator fans adoring him. He won't have that. He'll be a former LSU player when he's in the NFL, and I think he will be in the NFL. They'll say LSU under his name. Gator fans will look at him as a guy that bailed on them. I hate that it's like that. I know Trevor Etienne and Princely Monmielen left too, and many others did too. But this kid grew up a Gator fan, and that was very hyped, and it was very talked about. So I hate that the decision that Jack and his camp made for him down the road.
Florida State coach Mike Norvell is paying big for his 2-10 season. He has restructured his contract to give $4.5 million back to the school to kickstart its fundraising for the new revenue sharing model.
Yeah, I don't know if that's $4 million out of 1 year's salary. I don't think he cut his salary in half because he makes about 10. But I do think, listen, I'll give him credit. It was a miserable year, but they've been about as proactive as you can be, man. Ever since then, he gutted the entire staff. He brought in a new offensive coordinator. He brought in a new defensive coordinator. He brought in new assistants. They've already gotten a couple guys at the portal. He flipped a couple guys in recruiting. Now he's giving more money to the collective. I don't know if any of it's going to work, but he didn't sit on his laurels. He said, listen, we're up against it here. I better do a lot of stuff. And he did a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. Let's get to college basketball. The Gators dominate Arizona State 83-66. Florida guards Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard combined for 56 points.
Boy, two things. Now look, the league is brutally hard. I got a thought about that in our last segment. Brutally hard. But they are really good. And Walter Clayton, I mean, he's the college version of Steph Curry right now. I mean, he made everything he looks at, he's letting it go. I love it. I mean, if you play the Gators, you got to hate seeing him shoot, and he shoots a lot.
Absolutely, and that Florida front court is so good as well. That Todd Golden squad, so incredibly balanced. They've got North Carolina tomorrow night. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. We're staying in the Christmas spirit.
Oh, I love Christmas.
We're staying. Get a little Elton John for you today. Step Into Christmas, one of my favorites, released in 1973. We were talking about this the other day. JJ doesn't have a favorite Christmas song. Kind of sad.
I heard you ask. I left, so I do have one, and it's the last one I'll play before I leave on Friday, as a matter of fact. So because I'm off next week. I love this one though.
Yeah.
Well done. This is a great Christmas song. Elton John. Nothing by Elton John is bad, by the way.
Good point.
Elton.
This is prime 1973 Elton here.
This is wheelhouse Elton. No question about it. We'll be back to wrap the program after this. Well done.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NBA Cup Finals taking place on Tuesday night in Las Vegas between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Milwaukee coming off a semifinal win against Atlanta Saturday, while Oklahoma City beat the Houston Rockets. The Thunder, who have the best record in the Western Conference, are a 4.5-point favorite, minus 115 against the spread. The Bucks are minus 105, getting the 4.5 points. On the money line, Milwaukee plus 160, Oklahoma City minus 190, and the over-under is at 214.5. Oklahoma City, the second best odds to win the NBA title in June at plus 400. They're right behind the Boston Celtics. Milwaukee is at plus 2,500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
The holidays are here, and so is your entire family.
Uh-oh, the toilet's not flushing.
And now the kitchen sink's clogged too? There's water coming from the ceiling. It's raining in the living room.
Don't let this be your holiday disaster. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get those plumbing issues fixed before family time turns into flood time. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
Post Game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Picking here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bowden Eye. Visit Bowden Eye & Associates today and experience the difference. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Storms are part of every season. Make sure you're protected. Call American Electrical to make sure you have the best in surge protection. Don't lose your home electronics to a lightning strike. Call 737-7770 for American Electrical.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
He used to cover the Jags. Now he's a CBS Sports senior NFL writer.
Well, I believe he's got everybody's attention.
He's Pete Prisco. Friday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Christmas is a great time to show loved ones you're thinking about them, and no better way than a beautiful piece of jewelry from Golden Diamonds Direct. They've been in business on the First Coast for 40 years. In fact, this is their 40th Christmas, putting something special under the tree for that special someone. Drop on by Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Plantation Publix Plaza and see what an incredible selection of great gift ideas they have, making this giving season memorable. Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Publix Plantation Plaza.
Now, the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
When the home team needed a big play, they would look no further than the phenom BTJ. Mac Jones would find the wide out for a 19-yard touchdown, making the score 22-17 with 10:58 left in regulation. The Brian Thomas Jr. score is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Jacksonville contractors and business owners. Do you need chain link fence, commercial steel, or rolling doors? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they can stand on their reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. So contact Coyle & Sons today. That's 904-356-4821 or visit them at coiljacks.com.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
With Evan Ingram being sidelined for the remainder of the season, Brenton Strange will yet again step up to fill the tight end one role. Strange turned heads against the Jets' defense, catching 11 passes for 73 yards. Strange spoke to the media in the locker room post-game to discuss the want to win and his production from Sunday's game.
Felt pretty good, but it wasn't enough to win. So at the end of the day, all we care about is winning around here, and so it really doesn't matter. It's cool to go out there and execute a little bit better than we have in the past weeks, but we didn't do enough to win the game, and that's all. I mean, I think the opportunities just came my way. Here we say don't chase plays, and plays came my way, so I made the plays. I pride myself on being a reliable player for this team, and that's what I do.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
All right, where have we been in the program today? We certainly talked Jaguar football. Bucky Brooks came on with us to talk about the Jaguar win. We talked about the Jaguar loss. We talked about it ourselves as well, including the incredible emergence of Brian Thomas Jr. That's the positive storyline. Another close loss to the Jags. We talked Heisman Trophy today. Told you who I voted for. I did vote for the winner, and so we talked a little bit about that. We talked about the Jack Pyburn story, and I just hate it for him in the future, but hopefully he does well at LSU. I wish him the best doing well at LSU. And we went around the NFL with headlines, all kind of stuff we covered there. Before we get out of here, I will tell you this, and I haven't. We didn't have to. We were just too busy today. I'm going to make the point tomorrow. I'm going to expound on the point tomorrow. I'll make it now. I always believed the deepest college basketball conference I ever saw were the 80s Big East. That was Georgetown, St. John's, Villanova, Providence, Seton Hall, UConn. People can't imagine how good all those teams were. They all played in Final Fours. Many of them won national championships. And I just went, Georgetown, St. John's, Villanova, Providence, Seton Hall, UConn. I didn't even get to Boston College. Some of the other teams were pretty good too, because that was the group. Mm-hmm. And it was unbelievable how good they were. And the ACC had great basketball. It went deep at times. North Carolina and Duke, always good. And there's times when Georgia Tech was really good with the Lethal Weapon 3. Remember that group? And there's times, certainly when Wake had Tim Duncan there, and NC State's had some great moments. But I never thought it was quite as deep. Virginia certainly had great moments, but I never thought it went quite as deep. I think this SEC might trump all of them. 5 of the top 7 teams in the AP poll. Do you realize that? 5 of the top 7 teams in the AP poll are from the SEC. The Gators are 7th and they're 5th. I mean, it's 5 of the top amazing. 7. I think 10 of the top 25. 10 of the AP top 25 are from the SEC, which means you can be really good. You may get blistered. Florida might look up and have this go be 12-0 when it starts the SEC, or 11-1, and go 7-11. I mean, I don't think they're going to, but you get the point. I mean, any of these.
There's only so many wins to go around.
There's only so many. I mean, Kentucky's so good. Tennessee's so good. Auburn's so good. Alabama's so good. And lucky Florida gets to play them all. You know, I mean, it is real. I mean,
and they don't get Kentucky at home.
Right.
They have to go there.
I mean, Missouri's good. The
A&M's good.
A&M's good. Have you? Georgia's good. Georgia's good. They're 9-1, and they're either ranked, or I think their net's 24, maybe something like that.
26.
26. Yeah. So I mean, what a good league.
Mississippi State's 24th in the net. I mean, Ole Miss is 22nd.
I mean,
this really is incredible.
I mean, in the top 26th in the net, there's probably 10, 12 teams. It's amazing how good the league is.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So in the net, Auburn is 1, Tennessee is 2, Florida is 5, Kentucky is 7, Alabama is 10. Then there's a drop off.
Yeah.
And then you get all those teams we just mentioned in between 22 and 25.
So we'll talk more about that as we go. Folks, that's our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick Beluga's into the night. Right now, we're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.